No limits. Just purpose.
I'm not telling this story to be dramatic, and I'm not telling it to be understood by everyone. I'm telling it because this is the part that usually gets skipped, and without it, nothing else I'm becoming makes sense. Before confidence, before discipline, before purpose, there was environment. I grew up in a world where you learned early how to read danger, not because someone taught you, but because not reading it came with consequences. Where voices changing meant something, where silence meant something else, and where your body learned tension before your mind ever learned language. I saw violence early, not stories, not rumors, not something I heard about later, but things that stayed with you, things that rearrange how safe the world feels forever. I saw people hurt, I saw life end, I saw how fast a normal day can turn into something you never forget. I was around 6. My mom and who I believed the love of her life, his name was Jerry. They moved us out of the projects into a neighborhood out of the city. We had a big backyard. We had a birdie net. We never even heard of the game, but Jerry taught us how to play. We even had a small stream in the yard that I could have sworn it had fish swimming in it, but that might have been my childish imagination. We was in our new house for about 2 or 3 nights, and my brothers was asleep. We were all asleep in the room, and I heard a banging at the door. Not the kind of banging that was knocking, but something harder. I looked around and I seen that my brother still was sleeping. I go into the hallway and I see my dad. He had kicked in the door. I looked at him. He was coming up the stairs. He came up to me and guided me back into my bedroom. But me, being who I was, I followed him while he kept walking towards my mom's room. He pushed the door open. My mom seen him, and she rushed into the closet. I seen Jerry extend his arm to my dad as to say, "Hold on," but he said, "Wait." I ain't realized my dad had it, but he raised the baseball bat and swung it towards his head and kept swinging it until he was down. I froze. My mom rushed out the closet, down the steps and out the house. I knew she was in danger, so I came to my senses, kneeled down and tried to get Jerry to wake up. I thought he was sleeping because it sounded like he was snoring. Didn't know he was gasping for air. I'm telling him while nudging him, "Get up, get up. He's gonna hurt her." He wouldn't move. I got myself up. By now my brothers woke up, and my older brother ran outside, and my baby brother was in the hallway at the top of the stairs crying. He was too young to understand, but not too young to feel danger. I go outside and I see my father chasing my mom. He throws the bat. It's spinning like a propeller. My mom dives in the bushes, the bat just missing her. My dad jumps on top of her and started punching her over and over and over. It was so many people watching, it seemed like the whole neighborhood was outside, but my big brother, he was there, yelling, "Help." No one helped. No one came. My mom ended up in the hospital suffering from broken bones and a broken heart. Jerry, my mom's boyfriend, died a few days later, and my dad was arrested and sentenced to 2 decades in prison. And the kids in that house was never the same. What that did to me wasn't fear the way people imagine it. It was awareness. A permanent understanding that life isn't promised and protection isn't guaranteed. That lesson, that lesson, excuse me, doesn't leave you. It just goes quiet and starts making decisions for you. I also learned early how powerless kids really are. How adults fight their own demons and children just absorb the damage. How love and pain can live in the same house. How you can care deeply about someone and still not feel safe around them. After that night, we're back living in the city. The house had a certain vibe. We tried to move on, but it was clear things had changed and not for the better. My mom is a strong woman, a hard worker, and did whatever she could to try to make ends meet. So strong, she never talked about that night with us ever. I was angry for a long time, but what I really wanted was to apologize to my mom for not getting bigger quicker, for not protecting her. I was always in my head like that. I felt so cold. I slowly drifted apart. As I got older, the world outside the house wasn't softer. It was sharper. The neighborhood taught lessons fast. We learned how to stand, how to speak, how to move, how to not look like prey. You learned that hesitation could cost you, and that respect wasn't given, it was taken or enforced. At some point, survival stopped feeling temporary and started feeling like identity. I'm in these streets. I found ways where I could try to help my mom with bills and meals. It felt good lifting some of the burden off her. That's when mistakes happen. I got arrested. More than one time. Not as a turning point movie moment, but as a reality check that comes with fear, shame, anger, and a sudden realization that the system already had a version of you written in its head. I was falling right into the traps the systems put in place. It was happening so often where people heard I was locked up, it was regular scheduled programming. I'm not proud of it. I'm not hiding it from it either. Those moments taught me how thin the line really is between freedom and losing everything. How one decision can echo longer than you expect. Then life hit me. It hit me with responsibility before I was ready for it. I became a father. Young. And raising my daughter alone wasn't inspirational. It was heavy. It was exhausting. It was terrifying. It was beautiful in a way that hurt because I knew I had no room to fail. There was a moment where everything went quiet, like life was asking me a question. On September 16th, 2003, my baby girl came into this world. As soon as I looked at her, I fell in love, and when she noticed me, I knew she felt the same. And I never felt love like this before. That's where something changed. Not healed, changed. I had to make better decisions. get out of the streets. She was counting on me and I needed to be around for her, not locked up or worse. I stopped living just for myself. I stopped moving reckless. I stopped starting. I started carrying weight differently. Every choice mattered now. Every mistake I made had a life attached to it. I ain't know it then, but that little girl was saving my life. I ain't deal with past. I ain't deal with the future. I just live day by day by day. The past, I buried it. I focused on surviving, providing better, being present even when I didn't feel whole. And that's the truth about all of us, really, that we don't always want to hear. The same instincts that saved you early in life can trap you later if you never question them. This episode isn't about excuses. It's about origins. It's about why trust doesn't come easy, why consistency matters so much to me, why responsibility isn't optional, why commitment isn't negotiable, why love, real love, had to be learned through actions, not words. This is the foundation. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about what happens when survival stops protecting you and starts to limit you. When you realize you can't build a future with the same mindset that kept you alive in the past. That's where this movement really begins. And I want to say this clearly, not just for you listening, but for myself too. I ain't choose most of what shaped me. I ain't asked to see what I saw. I didn't ask to grow up early. I didn't ask to carry the responsibility before I even understood what it was. But I did choose what to do with it. I could have stayed hardened. I could have stayed angry. I could have let survival be the ceiling instead of the foundation. And for a long time, that's exactly what it was. This movement, the Jones effect, exists because there comes a point where surviving isn't enough anymore. Where you have to decide if you're going to keep reacting to life or finally start building one. Everything I'm becoming now is built on understanding where I came from, not running from it. Honoring the pain without living inside of it. Turning pressure into principle. Turning instinct into intention. This isn't about erasing the past. It's about finally using it. Because the same awareness that once kept me on edge is now what keeps me disciplined. The same distrust that once made me guarded is now what makes me intentional about what I let close or who I let close. The same pressure that once felt unbearable is now the weight that keeps me grounded. I'm not chasing healing like it's a destination. I'm building structure so the pain doesn't run the wheel anymore. I'm learning how to stay present without being defensive. How to lead without being hard. How to love without fear, controlling the outcome. This is me choosing to live on purpose instead of living on instinct. Choosing consistency over chaos. Responsibility over reaction. Commitment over comfort. This is the line where survival stops being my identity It starts becoming my reference point. No limits, just purpose. Peace.
Black people and brown people are the only group of people, and poor whites, who didn't use free enterprise and capitalism to set themselves free. Black people.
To the bank, to the bank, I get it. To the bank, to the bank, I get it. To the bank, to the bank, I get it. To the bank, 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 to the bank.
Black people.
To the bank, to the bank, I get it. To the bank, to the bank, I get it. To the bank, to the bank, I get it. To the bank, 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 to the bank. Anytime I change my style, D-Drum.